Hey, this is the latest episode of the Silverfox Hustle podcast with me, your host Shasi, and we are all pretty stoked that the current or the circuit breaker is being lifted, albeit in phases. Now, to the businesses and individuals who are getting back into the offices, good luck with that. And to those who are still working from home, stay safe, stay healthy, and you know what, be safe, be healthy. And what better way than to listen to a podcast at home? And which podcast is this podcast? And I'm pretty stoked as well because we have a great lineup today. And I call all my guests rock stars, but today in the house are rock stars, right? And they are actually they are actually a duo, like just like Batman and Robin, and they will decide who Batman and who the Robin is, right? And I have been a fan of theirs since some time back, since Walla Walla days, right? And the duo started off as solo musicians more than a decade ago. They came together way back in 2002, would you believe it? And they have never looked back since. During those times, they managed to cut an album, right? And it's called In Stores Now. It was called In Stores Now, which produced songs like the Falala song and Fiona. Now, for those of you who are in that age range, right? 76, 78, 77, you will know those songs. Of course, they've been busy performing all over Singapore. One place is, of course, like I said before, Walla Walla. So now, on top of that, they've been the occasional MCs, performing in weddings, guest DJs as well at Class 95, and they've written songs for TV series and stuff like that. Now, all the hustle led to the duo winning 2 awards, I think those, and they will speak to us about the 2 awards. And one of the awards, I've got to say, is pretty cool. Now, above all, this duo has captured the hearts of many Singaporeans with their laid-back style and demeanor, which can be said lacking from real rock stars. Welcome to the Silverfox Hustle podcast, Jack and Ray.
Hello, Shasi.
You guys are very, very chirpy, in this circuit breaker mode, so to speak. Now, this is a positive show, right?
Yeah.
Now, if there is one positive to take away from this circuit breaker, what is that? We start off with Jack.
Whoa. Okay. Wow. One positive. I think definitely I have trained my patience has definitely improved a lot. I think that's one positive that because Ray knows me well, and I think a lot of my close friends know that I get very how would I say,
impatient
impatient sometimes, and very I'm a rushy kind of guy,
Okay.
and if Ray is chill. Ray does not say one thing at a time, but he takes it in his stride. For me, I like to zoom. I mean,
So what has trained you to be patient? Your kid.
I just being at home sometimes and just listening and letting her communicate. Sometimes I'm in such a rush to go out, to have to run to this errand and all that. And I'm always a last minute kind of guy. But I think this circuit breaker has taught me to just take things one step back. And yeah, and she's just turned 2. She's learning to speak, so all the gibberish is coming out. And I'm always wondering, how come mommy always understands her? But, I always don't seem to get what she wants, and, she gets frustrated with me. But I guess I got better a little bit.
It's a nice age, isn't it? The 2-year-old starting to speak and starting to walk as well. It's a wonderful age to be with. And that's right, actually, because you're always hurrying. And then now, what's there to hurry? You can't hurry to anywhere anyway, right?
Exactly.
How about Ray?
Well,
You just love your bachelor's pad.
I think if I say that, my girlfriend will kill me.
Oh, okay.
Well, if there's one positive I've taken away, it's that usually, I think Jack and I get caught up a lot in running around, doing gigs, performing, and just basically following a schedule that is almost, actually, even though we're freelance, but it's kind of like almost planned out for us because we're always busy doing engagements, right? And I guess because now there's nothing to do, which is sad in one way, but the positive is that I think I actually have spent a bit more time, improving my own skills, picking up new things. Just before the circuit breaker kicked in, I was taking like a mobile filmmaking class, like how to make short films and videos. And And the best part is I think I've managed to put that skills to good use now because I've got the time to actually sit down and shoot things and edit things. And yeah, so it's been interesting learning experience, I would say.
So the first movie is coming out soon, yeah?
Well, actually, the first music video is out.
Wow.
We actually released it just before the circuit breaker
Okay.
for one of our older songs called "Tryin'."
Okay.
And the video was entirely shot by a director and edited the whole thing.
Nice.
Yeah.
What is it called again? Sorry.
It's called "Tryin'."
Okay.
The song is called "Tryin'," and it's on.
Is this on
YouTube?
Great.
Our Jack and Ray TV YouTube.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Now, let's get stuck in. Now, this Silverfox Hustle podcast is basically a positive show.
Yes.
It is about highlighting guests and of course, highlighting their hustle and their hard work, their work ethic to where they've gotten to, and their whatever they put into their craft, right? And to where they've been. So I want to highlight you guys in this episode, and you guys have got to tell me stories here, right? From the beginning, and because especially people who are listening at home, especially the youngsters who want to be musicians like you guys, right? They want to get some tips, and especially they need to know the sacrifices that you guys made as well, right? Now, starting out, right? Were you guys musically inclined? Like, where did you guys pick up that music thing? We start off with Jack.
Okay, so for me, the music thing, very, very early part of it, I would say that I was quite lucky because my dad was actually playing in like a sort of a military band style kind of thing.
Right.
So he was actually volunteering with the Salvation Army. So the basically the place where we donate all our used items, and so there's a church arm of it, which my dad would bring me to every Sunday, and that's how I just got the fiddling, the guitar, the drums, and I would say that would have been the early beginnings of music.
Did you like take up lessons, or you just?
Actually, lessons were just all informal, like sit down with this other older brother and Koko, in a church context, and and learn some chords. And actually, I would have to say one of my biggest inspiration is my old man, because he plays the guitar, and actually he gave me a guitar, I think during my primary 6, around that age. So it was just a very a basic guitar, but I learned how to play some chords, and then it came up to when he came to F chord, it got frustrating, and I just like I put it down. And one day he came back from work, and my dad was like, "Hey, why you stop playing guitar?" Then he and through all this time, right, he never picked up, he never played anything for me, and he just decided to sing a few songs, and I'm like, So I guess maybe that was kind of like the turning point as a young kid.
We've all got to thank Mr. Ho for that, yeah.
That's right.
How about you, Ray? Did you start that young or later on?
I think my background is quite funny, man. So my mom used to listen a lot to radio when I was young, right? So I'll be at home. She always play a few cassettes of her favorites, and these favorites of hers were like the Beatles. She'll play Elvis. I listened to a lot of Michael Jackson when I was young, and all this because my mom just used to play music in the kitchen, and she'll do her work, and I will just listen to it, and I grew to love it. And I would sing in the shower. I would sing for fun, that kind of thing. And I also never really thought about picking up an instrument. But I have two uncles who I say were very prominent in the music industry.
Okay.
One is the late Siva Choi. He passed away last year.
Yeah.
And he was a very well-known rock and roll, singer and blues singer, all the way from the 60s.
Yep.
And my other uncle, who's well known as Tabla Maniam Man.
Okay.
Yep. So he was a percussionist, right?
Yes,
and I used to watch him when I was young.
Right.
We'd go to some of his shows and watch him perform, and I would see him at Zouk as well.
Yeah.
I would see him say hi and then run away because I don't really want to get caught being like a bit mabuk in front of everybody.
A bit,
yeah. So so I mean, I'll watch them, and I wouldn't say it was a very direct inspiration, but I think the whole music thing for me came in very late, man. I learned guitar when I was like 17, 18 years old.
That's pretty late, isn't it?
Yeah, and I didn't even learn it properly. I learned it from friends.
Right.
And then I learned it from friends, and then I just gave up, And I was just focusing on studying, and I was a track and field athlete at that point in time.
Okay.
So I moved from, so music was just still, I like to listen to music, but I don't really perform it that much.
Okay.
And then it's only when NS came about, and I tore two knee ligaments in the army. While during Suspect, I tore two knee ligaments, and then I was, hanging around, right, like out of course. And the music and drama company came to audition, and I know I could hit a note or two here and there, so I was like, okay lah, just for fun, go and try, And I got in, and that's where I met this other guy who brought me into the bar scene. Actually, it's only after that I started learning how to play guitar properly. So I was probably about 19, 20 years old at that point in time.
So it was pretty accidental, really, right?
It is kind of serendipity, man, in that sense.
Yes.
But I always love music. So
great. Musical influences, like you said, your uncles and stuff. But in terms of the musical influence, like you said, you listen to the Beatles and stuff like that. Any Singapore band that you look up to? Bands in Singapore?
Yeah, I mean, there's always that era that almost cannot be replaced, man. That time when there were the Quests, the Thunderbirds, the Cyclones, who both of them were my uncles. The Experiments, all the way, and there was a movement and a scene at that point in time, right? That was, it's equivalent to Beatlemania in the UK. It was that in Singapore. They had fans. They used to tour in Malaysia. Some of the guys, even the guys from October Cherries, they went to the UK and were touring there for months. And I think these are all the guys that I still look up to, and I feel blessed that Jack and I actually know some of them personally, and we still talk to them and we still see them. It's amazing. They are amazing guys.
How about Jack? Overseas influences? Any musicians that you are influenced by?
I think at a young age, my dad was probably more a lot of Cliff Richard. That's one thing I remember. So a lot, I think my dad wasn't as psychedelic as well, not that as I hoped for him to be, but definitely more Cliff Richard, more Elvis Presley, and then later on. So for me, the music journey came into when it hit the 90s. It was just way out for me. So with the whole grunge movement, with Pearl Jam and Nirvana, I would say that growing up, like you said, we are all 76, 77, 78 boys. And that is like the spotlight of my teenage years. Yeah. Listening to
You mentioned about Cliff Richard as well, and I think my dad used to play it on the record, right? And the Bee Gees as well. Those were
absolutely
nice. I think Ray mentioned about how he started off in the bar scene, right, from NS days and the guy. How about you?
So just to continue your story, I think it's nice that so Ray left off at the point where he hooked up with some friends at MDC. And for me, right, I have to continue to say that during like maybe was it around I think 96, 97, Ray. So I was looking around. I was we were in the army, and I was kind of like I really want to take this guitar thing more seriously. So I was hunting around looking for live music. And I do believe that one of the first few bands I saw was Ray with his trio. and just to say, I distinctly remembered Ray being the vocalist and maybe holding a percussion, but he was not holding a guitar that time.
Okay. And where was this?
That was at Emerald No. 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
and what band was this? Was this part of the EIC as well?
No,
actually, Hey, what band was it, Ray?
We were affectionately known as the Strawberries.
I'm trying hard to.
We wanted to have one of those, those kind of 60s, 70s psychedelic kind of name, right?
Okay.
So we call ourselves the Strawberries, yeah.
And what, three of you or?
Three of us. So three of us, all NS boys at that point in time.
Okay.
But our leader of the band was this guy Benny, and he was the one who actually had been playing in bars earlier already.
Okay.
So before he went to NS, so he was slightly older than the other two of us.
Okay.
And he was the one that sort of like, "Oi, let's form this," he masterminded the whole thing. So that was how I was playing there. But when Jack came into the picture, these two guys actually had gone overseas to study, so I was alone.
Okay.
Yeah. So and that's when I actually really learned how to play guitar, man.
Right. Now, you know, getting together in 2002, right? So, was there a formal approach by either one of you, or how did that happen? Like how did you guys
Yeah,
get together?
you know what, Shasi, your stories and your questions are actually linking up really nicely in a
Yes.
chronological sense. But
Yes.
but from also from the minute for during the time I saw Ray, and then after that, like Ray said, shortly his bandmates left overseas
Yeah.
for studies, and then I went to interview. I went to audition for a few slots, at
Yeah.
at number five,
Okay.
and that's where we got to know each other because we were all playing solo. So Ray was playing solo, I was playing solo, and they usually use I mean, during that time, the younger kids to do one set to start off the night. And
Okay.
that's how, we got to know each other. There were some nights, maybe the schedules were a little bit, they got it wrong. And then me and Ray would turn up together and like, hey, but it was, during that time, it was never like, oh yeah, I have to rush anywhere, we're like, hey, you go lah, or hey, we'll
Yeah.
just, do whatever.
What
And,
kind of songs
and
were y'all playing?
good one. I think we all definitely had an inclination for a little bit of the 90s, like Breakfast at Tiffany's would be one of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I think in a slightly early 2000s sense of it all, we were into Coldplay, into Travis, into the Dave Matthews Band.
I
So I
think
think that,
I think a lot of Oasis as well. Oh, you
Yes.
too.
Yes.
All those kind of bands that were very, very hot in the 90s, lah. Mr.
Yes.
Big,
Wow.
Extreme,
right.
yeah.
Extreme. We enjoyed all that kind of stuff, and yeah. So that was like the informal hello. We went to another club together, at Robertson Key, right, Ray?
Robertson
Walk.
Yeah.
Robertson
Okay.
Walk. So it's a defunct place called Barcelona, BAR,
Okay.
Salona. But yeah, that's where we all kind of took it a little step further by getting each other to play. So, for example, it was New Year's Eve and I was alone.
Okay.
So we'll get each other like, hey, come and jam lah, and Ray would take Christmas Eve, for example, and I'll come.
Right.
So
Right.
kind of like fostered. That was how the early beginnings of Jack
Nice. Nice.
came
And
about.
those songs and those groups that you mentioned right down our alley, man, like Nirvana and those guys were great. Now, so Jack and Ray officially, right? Jack and Ray officially. What was the plan really? Was there any plan? Maybe okay, we are together. We are a duo. We are Batman and Robin. We're gonna take over the Singapore music scene in about 5 years' time. Was that a plan, or is just go with the flow?
We had absolutely no plan, man.
Thank you, Ray.
Right.
I just remember that Jack was, working in Sony at that point in time. I
right,
was
that's right.
I was in uni still, and I was still trying to be a school teacher.
Okay.
And we were just like, hey, come, okay, let's play on Sunday. All right, let's do it. We just go down, have a drink, play, and then we just have fun, and that's it. I think, there was really no discussion about where we would go, what we would do,
Right.
who we invite to join the band.
Yeah.
Nothing like that, man.
Nothing of that sort.
What were
Nothing
you
of that
doing
sort.
at Sony?
I was actually I was a marketing dude. So I was
Right.
actually marketing for the personal audio department. So basically that department, I must say, it's really cool because they had all the stuff like cassette players, CD players, and bro, I must jog your memory, and mini disc players, bro.
Wow.
Do you remember
Wow.
that?
Yes.
The
Mini
MD
disc.
player.
MDs,
Wow.
man.
Yeah, where we all
Uh,
like, wow, the format was still good. I think at least
Right.
we we used the optical pipe, and then we just take the tracks from the CDs and
Those
but
those
Yeah.
LDs, the LD players, the big ones.
yeah.
Those were the best in terms of quality, right? Those were the best.
Yeah. I realized that I've not seen those in Yonks, man.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
You guys, did you imagine getting this big? Because when I say big, right, Walla Wallas used to be like packed like sardines, right? Especially if you want to get up from the ground floor, right? You gotta wait and queue up, and you got the bouncer in there, and I know some of the waiters down there as well. They're good friends, became good friends after a while, right? Did you imagine that you guys being that big? Because you guys were pretty big then.
It was really fun. We still miss Friday night so much, but
Yes.
but we never, I don't know, Ray. We never. I don't think we ever.
We never expected it. I just remember that about 6 months after we started doing Fridays, we started off with Sundays, right? Just two of us. And then we expanded to a full band, thanks to, one of the managers there who actually introduced us to other guys to play with. And that's when we started Friday nights. And one day I just remember looking out at Friday night, and I just stood there and I was playing for a crowd, and I was like, wow, there's actually quite a lot of people, Jack. You know, it's like it's just it was a sudden realization. It happened for a few weeks, and we're just like 6 months have passed since we've played here, about 5-6 months.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what is going on? Why is it suddenly so crazy packed?
Yeah.
And then that's when I kind of realized, oh, maybe we're doing a good thing, you know? So I was like, but again, as usual, we had that realization, had a few beers after that, and just never talked about it again. So
okay. It's just
So
like
never,
going with the flow, right? Yeah.
Exactly. We know it felt good, and we just kept going at it. Yeah.
I think we never charted anything out because that the role at that point in time of gigs was really just to supplement a bit of income and also just for fun, you know, because Jack had a job, I had a job, you know.
Yeah.
We just never thought about where to go with it, you know.
You guys were great. Right? Let me just say it off, not because I know you guys or whatever, but you guys were great, and it's safe to say it wasn't only about the chicken wings and the pizzas there at Wallace, right? It's not only that. You guys were great, right? So let's not take anything away from that. In terms of the music that you guys sang and played at Wallace, right, and anywhere else, what is your genre really? Is it like a mix kind of thing, a bluesy folks or folk, or just?
I think genre, if you don't mind, I mean, I would say that in the very early parts of selecting songs and what we enjoyed, maybe right place, right time, that we really love Coldplay and all these stuff. So basically these bands, I mean, just to let all the younger ones out there know that Coldplay was considered indie. So they weren't in the mainstream, you know, like kind of like top 40s and all that stuff, you know, not definitely not a Bon Jovi, definitely not Metallica and all that kind of stuff. So I think we definitely you know, lean towards songs which like Coldplay and all that. And I think maybe right place, right time, that you know, gave a little bit of an identity to what we love covering.
I see. I've always wanted to ask, not only you guys, right, bands as well, who has the say in the kind of music that you play in a particular place, like a pub? Do you have a say, or like the management say, hey, I think the crowd loves this and you gotta go with this?
Good question.
I think it works two ways, lah. I mean, for Jack and I think there's a certain kind of music that people expect from us. You know, we are always the more pop, rock, folk, blues kind of stuff. Not really so much top 40s. I mean, top 40s, yes, but the genre is still very band kind of music, you know, very guitar-based kind of music. So we do have places that, you know, ask us to play, and then they're like, hey, can you do, you know, like songs by, say, like, you know, by like, I don't know, like if you want to talk about now, you know, like Dua Lipa or
Chainsmokers
or Bastille or Chainsmokers. And then I'm like, you know, can is can lah, but you know, it's not, doesn't characterize what Jack and I do.
Right.
You know, you can get any band out there to do that.
Right.
You know, but what Jack and I are good at, I wouldn't say it's old music, but it is that kind of genre where it's folk-based or rock-based or guitar-based. And we do that well, you know, that kind of thing. So, yeah.
Rivalries. Are there any rivalries between local bands, or, you know, because I know Charlene used to play, or I don't know whether she still plays there, and she's the, you know, the real rocker chick kind of band, right? And Lover as well. Are there any rivalries or secret rivalries?
Wow, I think really, what you say about that, man?
You know,
Jack sitting on the fence.
No, actually, I mean, yeah.
Okay,
I would say no.
Admittedly, as Jack and I are pretty much observers of the scene, lah. You know, you know, but we do know that the scene, you know, the general music scene in Singapore can be a bit cliquish, lah. You know, as in, there might be a certain event which a certain person handles, for example, and you'll see a certain few bands at that event, and you know, normally it's that kind of thing, or you know, these guys will always like kind of play together in that sense. For us, in terms of rivalries and competition, no lah, you know, I think for Jack and Ray, we have our own brand, and anybody who plays with us, we know so many guys from other bands, right? And when they play with us, they also kind of like, what they want to play with us because they want to have that Jack and Ray feeling.
True.
You know, that kind of repertoire. People like Shirley and all we've known for years and yonks, lah, you know, and all the other bands guys we know, and we all sub each other. We all hop in to help each other out, jam with each other. So I think it's a healthy rivalry in that sense. It's
great.
You don't talk about it, but it's healthy lah.
I think my takeaway and my opinion is I think there's a place for everybody, right, in the scene, not only in music but in sports and in every industry. So, well said, Ray. Now I know it's a passion, right? It's a passion. It's what you do. You love playing the guitar. You love singing and stuff like that. It comes with sacrifices, right? It comes with the hustle, right? What kind of sacrifices have you made? And do you even get bored? Like on a daily basis when you play in a pub or different pubs every single day, and then you're probably playing the same songs or what have you. What are the sacrifices, and do you even get bored doing those same things every single day?
I think first of all, if I might address the sacrifice part, I think for the last 18 years, at the stroke of midnight, the first person I hug is Ray. And if you think that
you didn't say New Year's Eve.
Oh, sorry, New Year's Eve. Yeah, right. Sorry, New Year's Eve. Pardon me. Thank you, Ray. I jumped the gun.
I get hugs every day.
At the stroke of midnight on New Year's Eve, the first person I hug is Ray. I don't hug Ray every day at the stroke of midnight. Okay. But yes. So these are the little things that if family is important, and we all know that. But sometimes it's a hot night. We got to go out there and spread the love, and these are the little things that we have to sacrifice.
So it's safe to say that you love the sacrifice because it's what you do, right?
Absolutely.
How about
but
Ray?
sometimes it's also sorry.
Sorry. Hey Jack, you wanna finish your sentence?
Yes, please.
Oh yeah, I was going to say sometimes it's also a balance of as much as we love playing music and rocking out on stage, but sometimes it's a balance of the with your other half, with your family. They have some expectations, and I think that balance is important. And in terms of the whole scheme of things.
Well, as long as your other half and then the family members understands, then I think it shouldn't be a problem. Yeah, Ray?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm guilty of actually being the unbalanced one, because sometimes when I dive into work or I'm having fun at a gig, or I just forget about everything else, right? Then I get complaints from my partners or girlfriends or family. But I learn how to be a bit more mindful of that. But I think addressing your question about burnout, right?
Yes.
I think when you play 6 nights a week, the chances that you can burn out are very, very high. Unless you're really doing something different musically. Most of the time, if Jack and I were to play together 6 nights a week, we'd probably be playing roughly the same songs. We'd expand a little bit here and there. And, I think Jack and I take that approach where now before this circuit breaker kicked in, we were doing about 3-4 regular nights a week. And we actually cut back on our regular nights because we felt that it's important to have some off nights to spend with family, just to do something other than music. Because, when you start getting bored of what you do, right, that's a very dangerous pit to fall in.
Yes. It becomes a disease then, right? It's just, it plays on your mind and stuff. How about a bad day? Let's say you have a bad day, not at work, but elsewhere, and then you come into work and you are expected to perform because it's what you do. You have to entertain, you have to perform. There's no way out. Like you can't hide. Has that happened? And how do you guys?
Definitely.
For sure.
I think one thing, if I can say, I think Ray and myself are very honest with each other in terms of, like, for example, when we go for a gig and before, we'll set up before the gig and all that. And sometimes maybe we know each other so well and we can be just honest with each other and say that, man, blah, 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 whatever, this and that. And I think maybe, we in that way, we kind of like try to be there for each other. And we know that, it's not easy musically speaking. For example, if you had a really bad day, but sometimes, I say, hey, Ray, or, Ray will say to me, let's just have a beer. Let's just enjoy ourselves and immerse ourselves in the music. I think especially for the very instant part of it where we have to get on stage, because we always believe that people come and watch us to have a good time, to take their minds away from their problems, their everyday, whatever they might be going through. And no one wants to see a musician go out there and sulk and tell them about their bad day and all that. So maybe that's one thing.
Yeah, just to add on, I think I think the lucky thing is that because Jack and I are a duo, right? We have the chance to play off each other, and so unless both of us are having a really bad day,
like you quarreled, like both of you had the same problem.
touch wood,
Yeah,
that has
and
not
then,
happened.
Yeah,
But
touch wood, yeah.
but sometimes the song selections will sometimes ride it out. We might let go a bit more Hendrix.
Right.
Maybe a bit more like Proud Mary
Yeah.
or Pride and Joy, and maybe just dig deeper. Like just let Ray rip it out on the fretboard
Yeah.
and get it out there. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
it's it's
something like
pretty
that.
it's pretty safe to say that no one of your audiences have ever noticed that, like, when you guys had a bad day, right? So well
Mm,
done. Now transition to being a full-time musician.
yeah.
Ray was a teacher. Were you
Mhm.
still at Sony, Jack, before?
Yes, so full time. I mean, when we were gigging regularly, I was
Yeah.
still working at Sony. Yeah.
So what made you guys think, okay, maybe we should do this professionally?
For me, okay, I'll jump in first because I was the one that kind of took the first step.
Yeah.
Because Ray had to fulfill his commitments
Okay.
because of the teacher training and all that.
Yeah.
But for me, I think came about mid '04 around that point.
Mm.
We were gigging quite a lot. I think we were gigging how many times? Ray got 3-4 times maybe.
Yeah, probably
Uh,
about. I mean, I would say about three
three
nights. I think you were
three
gigging more
times.
than me actually.
Yeah. So I was taking so besides the
Mm,
besides the regular gigs that we do together, I took on a few happy hour slots as well.
True.
So sometimes
Okay.
my nights would start at 6 o'clock and I'll play to 9, and then from 9:30 I'll continue with Ray. So I think it got to that point where we always tell people we kind of make the calculated decision that what, it's kind of happening for us, and we enjoy what we do. And I thought, yeah, why not? Give it a shot, try, and whatever it is, we know that we always not that we have our jobs to fall back on, but we know that if we don't try it, we will never give ourselves that chance. And
mhm.
so maybe for me during that time I decided, okay, I'll take the little leap forward.
Ray, obviously you had to fulfill. Is it a bond? Was it you? Did you have to?
Yeah, I did have a bond, but I only actually considered leaving teaching maybe about maybe less than a year before my bond finished.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so I didn't really think about going full time into music until I kind of thought, I mean, Jack and I started working on some of our own songs at that point in time. So we started
Yeah.
doing more working on original music.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, lah, maybe why not I take a break from teaching just to do whatever I want. For a while, I wanted to call it a sabbatical actually, because I felt that as a teacher, if I don't experience life, I don't know what to teach. Right?
Right.
You
Right.
spend all your time either going through JC, NS, uni, and then straight into teaching. You don't really get to experience the world, and
Yeah.
see what is out there. So I thought, okay, I want to go and make myself a more well-rounded person.
So you
I
make it
left.
sound like it's a death sentence, Ray.
No, it's not. I mean, as in,
Kidding.
I guess I'm the kind of person who doesn't want to get caught up in
Yeah.
in a certain space for too long. You know, um, so I thought, okay, I'll go and learn stuff. So I figured, okay, music, okay, look, I can still make money from music. I
Yeah.
can travel. I can, take classes and things. So I did that. So I thought, okay, I'll leave teaching, and that was when Jack and I were sort of focusing on promoting our first album
Right.
because
Right.
we
Okay.
had just finished recording it.
Right.
And then I was like, okay, lah, I think it's a good decision. I can make money from it. And I can also go out and promote the album. I don't have to miss any opportunities, that come on days that we can tour overseas and things like that. So that's what influenced my decision, lah. It was
Right.
more,
So
yeah, to have that
no
freedom.
regrets.
No
No
regrets. I
regrets.
mean,
Right.
my sabbatical was supposed to be a year. Ended up now it's 12 years,
It's
man.
12 years. Yeah.
Nice. It's that's not a sabbatical.
Yeah, I think it's now it's called a change in industry. Yeah.
Right. 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 Now, what is a typical day like for a professional musician, like a day in day out kind of thing? Like, what do you do, like, from morning till night when you play at night, right? So what do you do in the daytime, the rehearsal part and stuff like that? When do you do that?
Okay, I think a typical day. one thing I always tell my friends, and I'm very grateful for, is every day is different. We don't have a, it's not like a job where we have to report to work and you have a fixed thing happening. But most days, I think in the morning it starts off with us clearing some administrative work,
Right.
the emails, the all these slightly more boring stuff.
Yeah.
And then after that, in the afternoons, we get to sort of, depending on what's happening for us. For example, if there's a gig happening or there are rehearsals, there's a big show coming up. So maybe some afternoons will be spent in the studio, where we rehearse for a certain thing. Or for example, if there's a project, we'll go into the studio and start to record stuff and plan. So usually afternoons, would you say, Ray? We're running around a little bit more.
Yeah. No, actually, I mean, I just wanted to go with like general public opinion, right? And, mornings don't exist because musicians don't wake up. Afternoons usually we start drinking, and night is for mass orgies with groupies. I'm just kidding, right? That is just
that sounded like Motley Crue.
Yeah, that is what people think it is, but sorry, the Jack and Ray world, that doesn't exist, lah. So like Jack said, my order of things in the day is usually a little bit different. So I've got quite a standard day, lah. If when I'm free and I have nothing to do, morning usually after I wake up, I'll just have a quick coffee, and then I'll start with my guitar practice. I'll just like practice solos or scales and things like that, because I'm still desperately trying to improve how to play guitar. Afternoon is when I start doing my admin work, like emails, posting things, and I try to set aside some time in the afternoon to work out as well.
Okay.
And then, are you talking about circuit breaker or like in general?
No, in general, not circuit breaker.
Okay, yeah. Then, so when the afternoon finishes, I've done my workout, I shower, and then I'll head to a gig. That's usually what happens. Yeah.
Okay, so it's basically a pretty much routine in terms of that especially when you start rehearsing till the time you finish your gigs, right?
Yep.
Of all the events, the venues, right? Which is the best for you guys?
Wow. I mean, in terms of the regular nights that we play, I mean, Walla Walla takes the cake still, lah. Walla has we have a soft spot for Walla Walla.
Okay, okay. How about Ray? Yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I would agree, Jack. In terms of regular venues, yes, Walla is of course where we were born. We have a lot of sentiment attached to it.
Yeah.
So so Walla is definitely our number one venue that we'll play at.
Nice.
If you're talking about venues though, I mean, I think we've played some really exciting gigs, and I think the gigs that were really fun were those mass venues, when you actually get to really play in front of a stadium.
Okay.
Or play in a huge audience. And one of the ones I remember the most is we did a festival in Chengdu.
Right.
Oh yeah, wow.
Right.
Then you must imagine this mama fella comes on stage in China.
Yep. And it's interesting because you have an audience who obviously have not heard our music before.
Right.
And we sang our original songs.
Right.
And some of them actually tried to sing along.
Wow.
And you can actually see them trying to mouth the songs.
Okay.
And the reception was so warm.
What is this? Is this a hall, a stadium? What?
It was a festival, so we played 2 outdoor venues. But it's like a big, like a parade ground, like a like a.
But so it's outdoors, right? It's
outdoors.
Okay.
So it's like an outdoor festival, and they invited a lot of bands from overseas.
Okay.
And when I broke into Chinese song, man,
wow,
it really felt like
went crazy. Yeah.
Especially if the mama fella, sang that song, right?
Yeah.
Secret weapon, man. Secret weapon.
Well, they must have really loved you there.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very fun gig, and the audience was amazing, and it was so fun. Yeah, I mean, I think we had a lot of fun.
Nice. This is a question that I wanted to ask you guys as well, right? And did you ever like wanted to maybe say, okay, maybe let's form a bigger like a band, like a 4-piece band or 5-piece band? Obviously, you had EIC, right? So how did that come into play? Like the EIC.
The EIC. So EIC came about, I think. How many months? We're think about 6 months, 8 months.
No, less than that, man. I think about 2-3 months already. It started.
Where, in 2002, you mean?
Yeah,
that's right.
So what happened was the entertainment manager Tony at that point in time at Walla Walla, he was the one that put Jack and I together, right? I mean, after Jack auditioned and all, and then he introduced us to another friend called Steven.
Okay.
And Steven was a bass player.
Right.
Kind of, he played bass as well. So he started jamming with us on Sunday nights for fun. Like he'll do a set or a few songs here and there. And then Tony introduced us to another guy called Gabriel. And Gabriel was like a pure bassist.
Right.
So Gabriel started playing with us on Sunday nights just for fun, you know, again, a few sets here and there, a few songs.
Right.
And then Steven was like, oh yeah, you know, maybe I'll just jam with you guys drums. Steven could play a few instruments, so he played drums.
True.
And then Gabriel then brought in his friend from church called Joe. And Joe was a drummer. So Joe started drumming with us for fun. Gabriel was playing bass with us. And then Steven was just floating around on instruments. And then we were like, you know, and that was actually EIC.
Okay.
And we actually started a few months after Jack and I started together at Wala.
Right.
But that's when we got offered the Friday slot. And that's how EIC kind of really was born. It's like, that's when we formalized ourselves as a band. Okay. No, EIC, not IC. You know, but that's when we really formed a band, and that's how the whole Friday EIC thing started. Yeah.
Okay. But now, like, any plans to form a band? No, just stick to.
We still have the boys. Joe still plays drums with us, and actually Clement is helping us out on the bass, and we've been playing with this format for quite a few years already.
Okay.
So yeah, depending on gigs.
Right. I want to know your personal opinion of the music scene now in Singapore, right? Especially with you know, rap coming into play, electronica and stuff like that. Your personal opinion.
Jack, you wanna go or shall I?
Hey, you go first. Yeah.
Okay. You know what's amazing about the scene now, and I think how music has evolved, right? Even music making, people can make music at home. You know, suddenly there's a lot more music out there. You know, there are a lot of bands that are starting up, releasing things. There are some guys who hustle like crazy, you know, and I always admire these guys from different genres as well. You know, Sugar Shay, you know, he's in the rap scene, but he's a hardworking guy, man. He does a lot of stuff that a lot of people don't know behind the scenes. You know, and but the only thing that I always have a qualm about, especially when I do a lot of work with NAC sometimes to judge bands, and Jack does some mentoring as well.
Okay.
And I think one of the things that we notice is that, you know, I think a lot of bands staying power, they tend to abandon that gift that they actually have been given very easily. I mean, I don't know how easy. I mean, of course, I'm talking from my point of view, but
why?
I don't know. I mean, I've seen a lot of bands come release an album, realize that they maybe can't make that much money from music in Singapore, and then they just go back to regular jobs, or they go and take up something else that they want to do, make money, and then suddenly the band is gone. You know, so they release an album like, wow, you guys were so promising, and then suddenly they've disappeared. Then I'm like, what happened? You know, and it's not just one band, so many bands, man. It's and you're just like, you know, for me, I feel if you're really passionate about something, you really go to the point that you die for it, you know.
Okay.
And sacrifices have to be made.
That's right.
And I don't know whether it's because people are not making those sacrifices. Are they too comfortable? Are they looking for something more? Is financial gain probably priority? I don't know, man.
Is the generation thingy at play as well? The new generation.
I don't know whether it's generation thingy or whether it is just the way we are in Singapore.
That's right.
You know, whether we are just
I was gonna say at the same time as well, also the whole scene in terms of streaming, in terms of YouTube, you know, Facebook, Instagram. I think it's a very different scene. When me and Ray were making music, there was no social media.
Yes.
So, you know, everything was word of mouth. Walla Walla was word of mouth. And I think in a very organic sense of it, it was nice in that way. But now, like you said, it's hard to say, but I guess this is from what we observe. I was going to add in, if you don't mind me being a little bit more straight up also, I think ego is also a very big issue. Sometimes with success and with a huge following and a huge success over a certain album or song, I don't know, maybe, you know, that might get in the way. But like, you know, but we just feel that there's so much potential that suddenly like, hey, no more. That's it. Yeah.
It's a great thing what you guys said, right? Is the staying power thing that is quite lacking really. And for those of you listeners who are listening in, young budding singers and musicians, it's all about hustling, right? You gotta get in there. It's not about the failures as well. You know, you will fail, But I'm sure
Yeah.
you guys have
Absolutely.
failed before, and I failed before as well. So it is not about that. It's about if you really love what you do, you gotta like just keep on
You know,
pushing and
and I'm happy to say that, I do know some guys who are, I mean, I wouldn't stereotype all young people as being like, like that, but like I said, I mean, I do know some young guys who hustle and they work hard and
yeah,
they're
That's right.
still working hard, and it's very nice to see that, and it makes
right,
me feel
right,
like I should work hard too, it's
right,
that kind of
right,
thing. It's
right.
You're right.
Nice, nice,
You're
nice.
right.
yeah.
Uh, any funny stories to tell us, especially while you're playing in bars, overzealous friends throwing I don't know their lingerie at you
We
guys
Yeah, we
in
don't,
China
we
maybe.
unfortunately, we are in China, maybe. Actually, in
Mm.
China, the funny story is after Ray sang those Chinese songs, whoa, the queue of the aunties that were wanting to touch him. Yeah,
You
I mean,
serious? You
like,
serious?
yeah, there were so many. I'm like, hey, where's Ray? I'm like, oh my God. Hey, and you know what? I'll just giggle a bit. My wife was traveling with us that time. I'm like, okay, we let Ray handle it. I'm sure he'll be okay. And yeah, but that's kind of like not funny, but it's nice to see. It's nice to see,
Yeah.
and I think it's very heartwarming in a funny way. But yeah. So it's quite
Any
cute.
any angry friends?
No, I mean,
Oh yeah, definitely. Ray, any angry
we
friends?
yeah, we definitely had angry people around, man. There's a few patterns of people who come down to watch us play at our gigs, and there's always the one that like, can I request for this song? And then we're like, sorry, you don't know how to play that song, but we'll play something else for you. And it's like, then we'll get, next thing you know, it'll be like hey, how come you don't know how to play the song? You know, this artist you don't know, is it? No, then you start berating you. You're like, I'm like, yeah, I don't know how to play lah. So chill out, go and have a beer and let me finish my set. I mean, I think our bassist Gabriel, I think he had a lighter thrown at him once, a cigarette lighter thrown at him.
Yeah, we were gigging out Walla Walla. Friday, something flies across the room, and I,
Wow.
yeah,
Yeah, we've
yeah.
had.
And
I think
Gabriel is, yeah,
we've had the random ice cube thrown at us also here and there.
Seriously, ice
Yeah,
cube.
yeah.
Hey, that's painful. That's if
It's
it hits
painful.
you.
It's like, yeah,
but the good thing
yeah.
is, drunk people cannot aim. So
Right. Okay.
That's true.
Okay.
That's true.
Right.
That's
Right.
true.
Now,
Yeah.
we move on to your album, right?
Yes.
In stores now. It's called in stores now. It's not like in stores now, but it's called in stores now. Now, how did that come about? Whose idea was that? Was that
Again,
really
I think it
come?
was a journey. I think it was it just happened like that, right, Ray? But the truth was we were actually exploring. So we did cover music in a very early part. Started off covering songs, and I think in mid 04, I think MediaCorp approached us to write a opening title. I
No,
think
was it
for
I thought
kids.
06, no.
Oh six, was it 06? I can't remember.
I think around
Yeah,
06, like 05,
06,
06, I think. Yeah,
oh
I
five, oh
think.
six. Yeah. So that's where we first got the whole. Hey, yeah, writing original stuff. So but long story short, we embarked on writing that song. We got to know a producer, and basically we got introduced to this whole world of writing and recording. And I think we definitely felt a different sense of that kind of the accomplishment, or that feel of writing our own music. So I think that's
Of
how the
of course,
beginnings
of
of.
course. It must have felt wonderful, right? You grew up listening
It
to
did.
all
It
these
did.
musicians and coming up with their own
Mm-hmm,
songs and
mm-hmm,
cutting an album, and now
mm-hmm.
you guys just Batman and Robin doing your thing, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
wonderful. How was the songwriting process like? Or like where do you
Wow.
get your inspiration from?
Wow. I think, okay, what happened was actually, so after we produced that first song for the TV series, that's when we were like, hey, then the producer was like, hey, why don't you guys just do an album lah? And I think Jack and I both had songs on the back burner. We actually had written our own stuff, a few here and there, but, nothing
Okay.
we really shouted about. So, and that's when we were like, okay, let's rearrange those songs, let's do it again, and let's try and put it out. And then while we were recording the album and those few songs, because I think we had maybe 4 or 5 songs at that point in time, we decided to do a full-length album instead.
Yeah.
So we went from doing a short-length album to a full-length album, and then we were like, so we started writing during the album production process itself.
Right.
So
Right.
while we were recording other songs, we were writing songs somewhere else and writing
Okay.
new songs to
Okay.
add.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's how the whole thing came about. Actually, the Falala song was one of them that I actually
Right.
wrote
Yeah, man.
halfway while we were recording the album, and I
Yeah.
finished it, and then we recorded it. Yeah.
How did the album do in terms of sales, or in terms of reviews?
I think sales-wise, we were quite proud of what we did. I think sales-wise, how many did we do, Riri?
I think
I
we
thought
printed 3K on the first run,
3,000.
right? And then
Yeah,
we
3,000.
sold out, and then
Yeah,
we reprinted again, right? Is it?
that's right. I think
How
so. I
does
think we reprinted again.
No, no,
So yeah,
I'm from the outside looking in, right? I don't know shit about stuff like this. Like, how do you get your how do you make from sales? Like percentages? How does this work?
okay. I think in a good way. Okay. I think in on the big picture side of
Yeah.
things, because we weren't published by like a label, so everything that we put in was our own money. In terms
Right.
of production all the way to printing. So everything that we sold, we kept in
Ah,
terms of
right.
sales and all that,
Okay.
So
because
it's basically
yeah,
it's basically minus the production cost of the CD and what we pay the
yeah,
producer, blah blah, and then
yeah.
whatever profits we get back, you know. But at the end of the day, actually, to be honest, with the CD sales, we probably break even.
Okay.
Yeah, we probably
Mm.
break even or maybe slightly less, but from the sales itself, but it is getting yourself out there, media
Of course.
coverage
Yes.
Mm.
that actually
Mm.
adds to the value of it, lah. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
As
And I think
opposed
very
to
proud.
sorry,
Yeah.
sorry. Carry on, Jack.
No, I was going to say very proud to say also that both of us were actually selling CDs. So we when the album launched, we brought CDs. We made sure we had 20, 30 CDs each person. And at the gig, we would do the songs, and then after that, we would just sell the CDs, sign the CDs at every venue that we went, at the
Right.
schools that we went. And I think for the both of us, we even delivered the CDs to the shops. So
Wow.
we had to meet all the purchasing, the procuring managers, and
Right.
and do an account with them and bring the CDs down whenever they said they were low in stock and all that. So it was a really fun thing, and I guess it was something that we were
Well
quite
done.
proud of.
Well done. Well done. Now songs from the album like Release Me and Pixelated, it was featured in the World AIDS Day campaigns in 2008 and
Yes,
2009. I think 2 years in a row. That must have been a great honor, right?
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. I think it was nice that I think after the original song journey started for us, we were very, very thankful that I think it put ourselves in the radar on the
Yeah.
radar in a different sense of like being
Right.
singer songwriters.
Right. Right. And
Yeah,
And really
and we got to play some really cool events because of that commitment. I think we did one World AIDS Day at Fort Canning, and that was like a huge concert.
nice.
And we did Singapore Idol as well. They had an Idol special
Okay.
on World AIDS Day, and we
Right.
did that. And we sang Pixelator on that episode. I think
It's
I don't know whether that's the one Taufik was. It's the one that actually won.
Yeah, was it?
Maybe
Yeah.
it might be after Taufik. I think maybe
Taufik is the first one, right? Is it the first
Yes.
winner? Right.
Taufik is
Yeah.
the first
Yes.
winner.
I think second was
John.
Hadi.
Yes, Hadi was second one. Yeah, Hadi and John.
Yeah.
Yeah, correct.
Right.
The second one. Yeah, I think
Right.
it's the second one that we did.
Okay.
I think so,
It's-
Riri. Yeah.
It's nice to play at Fort Canning, isn't it? I've watched I think concerts by Motley Crue and who was that? White Snake. I think they played at Fort Canning. It's a nice atmosphere, right?
Oh yeah,
There are some nice venues. Yeah.
we have done some N Parks concerts there, and that's amazing, man.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, nice,
Mhm.
nice. Any albums for the future?
I think now what we're doing is we're putting out more singles actually,
Okay.
because I think the market has kind of shifted towards, when you put out an album, people listen to one or two songs and then that's it, right? So
Okay,
so we thought maybe we're just doing singles for the moment. I think
right,
it makes more
okay.
sense, and yeah.
Tell me about the awards that you guys won. Come on, Jack. You start this time, Jack.
It was very nice. I think the awards, like the band, I want to throw myself at. I mean, wow, who came up with that title? I mean, it was, but it was
The exact question I wanted to ask you. Who came up with that title?
Yeah. I think it's the guys from Neon Poly, because the award ceremony was actually a Neon Poly initiative,
Right.
and it's a nationwide voting kind of thing. And then
Okay.
so I think 2 years in a row, I think we won band. I
Wow.
want to throw myself at.
And I
yeah.
think Elle Magazine's Musicians of the Year in 2009.
That's right.
That's right.
Uh,
That's right.
Yeah, so that was the magazine just nominated us as. I think we had a lot of hype at that point in time. So
Yeah.
yeah, but we did actually win one more award, which is interesting for us, because it's the latest one we actually won.
Yeah.
I think this was 2016. It
Right.
was it's an Apollo Award. So
Okay.
the Apollo Awards is given to internal, within the TV and music industry.
Right.
So we won that award for writing the song for Tanglin, the theme song for Tanglin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Now, we come to the present right now. How has the pandemic affected Jack and Ray professionally? I've actually spoken to people in the events industry,
Mm-hmm.
people in the F&B industry as well. Uh, it's bad. It is
It's bad.
really bad. The events. I think I spoke to. I think the guy. You know this guy as well, Ross, right? Ross from
Yeah.
he does MCs and
Rosap-
stuff. Sapani, yes.
Rosapani. Yeah.
And he said it's 2020 is gone. It's just out of the door, right?
Mm-hmm.
How
Yeah.
about for you guys this year?
We would definitely have to say that it's good. It's been tough, and not to, yeah, not to say throw in the towel and say it's gone, but I think we try to make the best of what we best of the situation for now.
Yeah, I think I kind of realized also that I think my income tax next year will definitely be a lot lower, lah.
Oh
Yeah.
yes, that's a quick yes as well.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
that's a plus, isn't it? But I mean, but it's true. I mean, it is true that there are guys out there who are earning $0 this month and next month.
Mm-hmm.
It is, and
Mm-hmm.
you wouldn't believe the number of people we even know, right, personally,
Yeah,
who are,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, are all talking about it. As much
Wow.
as we're trying to stay as positive as we can,
Okay.
that's the real issue. Yeah.
Now I
Yes.
see you guys together with other musicians in
Mm-hmm.
the industry still hustling away online, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I guess there's no other choice. There's loads of
Mm-hmm.
people putting content out online, like the exercise videos and stuff like that. How about you guys? What have you been busy with in terms of doing stuff online? And what is this movement? I don't know whether it's a movement or not. Is what the We Are Music something? What's that?
Oh, is it when music unites? Where music
Yeah,
unites?
something
Is it?
something like that. Yeah.
Oh,
Ah.
okay. So we've actually done a few of these events. So one of
Right.
them is Where Music Unites, which is an initiative by our friends from a company called Red Spade.
Mm-hmm.
And they basically feature different artists. They have like a little concert set every few weeks or so. There are actually quite a few out there. Timber has got Keep Music Alive, which features the Timber bands. And they also do a live stream as well.
Okay.
We've also been part of a few other charity online
Right.
gigs as well. So,
Mm-hmm.
there are quite a few of these going around. We also have our own personal live stream.
Yeah.
Yes, I've watched that one. Is that on Sundays, right? Or is it? Yeah,
That's right.
Sundays,
Sundays.
where you guys get pretty high on beer.
Sometimes
Yeah.
we've got scolded individually by our other halves
After
for
the
being
show.
a little bit after the show.
Yeah.
So usually sometimes like happens to me, and then the next 1 week, 2 weeks I'll be a good boy, and then maybe the fourth week I'll be naughty. But yeah, but it's fun. I think just to touch on the Sunday night one.
Yeah.
For Ray and myself, it's to keep this Sunday tradition of being at Walla Walla. So we stopped playing. We used to play Walla on Fridays and Sundays,
Yep.
and we stopped we stopped Friday since I think around 2010, 2011.
Okay.
But Sundays has always been a consistent for us, and so since Circuit Breaker came in, we thought that we cannot stop that tradition, and
Right.
every Sundays from 9 o'clock we start streaming, and it's what's the show title called, Ray Ray?
It's called Live and Late with Jack and Ray.
As in LAID or LATE?
Hey,
We wish it was late, but yeah, live and late. Yeah, but it's basically, I think the show basically also, so by right, in technical senses, Jack and I cannot play online together. I mean, it's impossible to play live together. We
Okay.
have to, yeah. So, so the show is actually more like Jack and I talking about, our favorite drinks of the week. We do sing songs individually here and there. We talk about current situations and issues. We make fun of them, sing funny
Right.
songs, things
Right.
like that. So it's a little bit more of us showcasing the things that we think about, and more, above more than just musicians, but as Jack and Rayla, what do
Right,
these
right.
two blokes do, right? And this
Right,
is what we
right,
do.
right.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you said that, right? Both of you can't play together online like this, right? And
that's right.
it's wonderful to see the obviously the edited ones, right? Like I think you I'm sure you've seen the one done by Foo Fighters. The one
Yeah.
that was
Yes.
absolutely amazing, right? That's
Nice, yeah,
absolutely amazing.
yeah.
How do they do it?
Am I releasing some industry secret?
Yes,
I
please.
mean,
No lah, Ray.
no lah, but
Not. Yeah.
it's really just a matter of pre-recording your parts. And so what Jack and I do in a very simple sense is that Jack records the song, like when he sings a song, for example, he sings Wonderwall, then he records the song, and then he'll send the video to me.
He sings the whole song, obviously, right?
Yeah, he sings and plays the whole song.
Yes,
he sends the video over to me, and I jam with him on the video. So we get real-time interaction, right?
Right.
And then we put the videos together, lah. You know, we stitch it together.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot.
It is a lot of work. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a lot of work. You're right, and that's you have to balance the sound. You have to make sure everything is good to hear. It's a lot of work.
That is why it is so it's so amazing. And it's like professionally done as well, and with the video clips as well, like the way they sang it, and it's amazing. Now, any plans for a big ass concert like I think Lady Gaga did one, right, for during this pandemic. Are there any plans here in Singapore to do something like that? I'm sure they've done it like for MediaCorp, and they've done like a show full. Any plans for bands to do it?
Yeah, I think once the rules are a bit more relaxed, I know that there's some talk floating around about, should we do a concert? Should we organize a concert? Not just us, but just generally musicians. I know some people have actually spoken about, having a safe social distance kind of concert online, where we get bands together. And at least at that point in time when we can actually jam on stage together with social distancing, that would be ideal for this kind of thing to happen, lah.
Right. Where does Jack and Ray go from here? Like after the CB has been lifted, and it could be next month, could be in a few months, but from then on, where do Jack and Ray go from there?
I go to Wala.
Yeah.
First thing?
I'm just kidding.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Nah, I mean,
literally.
Yeah, in the physical sense. But I think in terms of direction, I think Jack and I probably want to still do more online content.
Okay.
We want to keep our Sunday show going because we feel that showcases a different side of Jack and Ray.
Okay.
It's not just us being musicians, but it's us being personalities, or just knowing us as two guys, right?
Okay.
So I definitely want to keep that going, and yeah.
Nice.
Jack.
Jack.
Hey, I was going to say that just to forward, like you said, the online stuff that we've been doing, even like we know that, phase 3, when it comes and when we can go back to jam and sing some songs live, it will be very different. And I think between Ray and myself, we know that we just want to keep that one night to stream, maybe on another on another day. But yeah, definitely to keep working on more content, more music. Right. But like you said, Sashi, I think the direction has got to be a little bit different because I think the new norm is still formulating. It's still taking its its shape as we go along the way, and we don't know what's going to happen. Everything is so reactionary right now. But we know that definitely music has to carry forward. It's gotta be the main engine that drives us forward.
Yeah, and the new normal is probably here to stay in terms of the online content and stuff. But I'm sure you guys agree as well, and that's my opinion as well, that nothing beats a full-on venue gig where you play and you sing to fans, just throwing ice at you. Even you don't care about that. Seriously, you don't care about that. After all this that's happened, you don't care what they throw at you. It's just raw and wonderful, and it's a wonderful feeling. Now, before we go, right, and I usually do this with my guests. It's called the Silverfox Hustle Challenge, and obviously I want you guys to play a song, and like you said, it can't happen like this online, but you promised to send me one of your your audio files. But I will not let you off like this because we are going to do this, right? We're going to do this. This is the Silverfox Hustle Challenge. 10 words or 10 things that I'm going to just throw out at you. You guys are going to take turns, so you guys have 5 each, right? You got to just give me one word answers that's going to be a positive word.
Oh,
right. So it can be anything. I can just throw you anything under the sun, right? Any word, and then you or anything, and then you come up with just one word answer that's a positive. Wow. That's positive.
Wow,
Simple,
positive
simple.
answer. Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Who's going to
All
start
right,
first?
Ray.
Hey.
All right, Ray's going to start, right?
All right, let's go.
Let's go. Number 1, your album in stores now.
Nostalgic.
Great. Number 2, Jack, the band
Yes.
EIC.
Amazing.
Number 3, Ray, well, you got this. PE teaching.
Passion.
Number 4, Wallace. Jack.
Unforgettable.
Nice. Number 5, Barcelona. The club or the bar Barcelona.
Wow. Serendipity.
For a moment,
one,
I thought
nice
it's wow, but okay.
Yeah.
Number 6, Jack, right? Falala song.
Fun.
Number 7, the awards that you won.
Grateful.
Grateful or
Grateful.
Okay.
Grateful. I was about to say gratitude, but same thing lah. Grateful, gratitude, all same.
All right. Number 8, Sony Singapore.
Good memories is 2 words.
Yeah. Come on, Jack.
Oh man, Sony Singapore. I was gonna say something positive.
Is that hard, Jack?
Enriching.
All right. Number 9, we've got Ray,
Yeah.
the Silverfox Hustle podcast.
In depth.
Nice. And
Very nice.
lastly, number 10, Jack and Ray.
Forever.
Wow. Wow. That's wonderfully done, guys. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you very
thanks,
much. That was
man.
good. That was good. Now, before we leave, any messages to your many fans out there, right? And as well as to budding artists who are coming out there, obviously after this pandemic, and any words of encouragement for them?
I think right now the ecosystem is really about supporting each other, whether you are a music lover or whether you're a musician. So I think it's a matter of, let's all have a relationship where musicians do something for the music lovers and music lovers do something back for the musicians. I think that's a cycle that should carry on.
Absolutely.
Nice. How about Jack?
I was going to say to our friends and fans and everyone that supported us, we miss you guys so much. We miss hugging you, we miss kissing you, and we miss everything, all about the music and all that. But yeah, hopefully we'll get back to normal soon and stay safe.
Thanks, guys. I think this has been an absolutely great episode, like I said before. And thank you very much for being on the show, the Silverfox Hustle podcast. It was a pleasure having you guys. Thank you very much. I will see you guys again, right? When Ray steps into Wallace once the ban is lifted, right? And Jack as well.
Absolutely.
Stay safe.
Take care, Mesashi.
You too, man. Thanks.
Take care.
Thank you very much.